Dr. Amanda Clark pressed her face against the cold metal of the observation deck window. The stars looked different here in the Kepler 442 system. Brighter somehow. More dangerous. "We should head back," Jake Morrison said from behind her. The commander's voice carried that edge it always got when he felt trouble coming. "The scan is complete. We got what we came for." Amanda turned around and looked at her team. Jake stood near the control panel, his weathered hands gripping the edge. Next to him, pilot Lisa Chen checked the navigation systems for the third time, in 10 minutes. Behind them, engineer Rick Davis monitored the engine readings with nervous energy. 5 more minutes, Amanda said. "I need to verify these biological readings. If I'm right, this planet has life forms we've never seen before." Jake shook his head. "Amanda, we're in hostile space. The Vorthak patrol this sector. Every minute we stay here increases our risk." The Horizon's Edge was a research vessel, not a warship. It carried scientific equipment and a small crew of 12 people. Against a Vorthak attack force, it would last about as long as paper and fire. Amanda looked back at the planet below. Green and blue swirled together in patterns that reminded her of Earth, but her instruments showed something else, something that made her heart race with excitement. "The protein chains are completely different," she said. "Not just alien. They're structured in ways that shouldn't be possible. This could change everything we know about life itself." A sharp beep cut through the air. Lisa's face went pale as she stared at her screen. "Commander," she said, "we have company." Jake moved to her station. Amanda felt her stomach drop as she saw the display. 3 massive shapes appeared on the scanner, moving fast toward their location. "Vorthak cruisers," Jake said. "Battle class. They'll be here in 12 minutes. "Can we outrun them?" Amanda asked. "Not a chance," Lisa said. "They're faster and we're too deep in their gravity well." Rick's hands flew over his controls. "I can give us more power, but it won't be enough. We need at least 15 minutes to reach jump distance." Jake hit the communication button. "All hands to emergency stations. This is not a drill." The ship came alive with movement. Amanda heard footsteps in the corridors as the crew prepared for what might be their last few minutes of life. "There," Lisa said, pointing at a small moon orbiting the planet. "We can hide behind that. Buy ourselves some time." Jake nodded. "Do it." The Horizon's Edge changed course, its engines pushing hard. Amanda watched the approaching Vorthak ships grow larger on the screen. She had never seen one up close before. They looked like massive black knives cutting through space. "Amanda," Jake said, "you need to destroy your research data, all of it." "What?" "No. This could be the most important discovery in human history. And if the Vorthak get it, they'll use it against us. You know the rules." Amanda's hands shook as she reached for her data pad. 3 years of work. 3 years of traveling from system to system, collecting samples, running tests. It would all be gone in seconds. The ship shuddered as they passed behind the moon. For a moment, they were hidden from the Vorthak. "Sensors. That won't hold them long," Rick said. "They'll scan the moon and find us within minutes." Jake opened a secure channel to Earth Command. "This is Commander Morrison aboard the Horizon's Edge. We are under attack by Vorthak forces in the Kepler 442 system. Requesting immediate assistance." The reply came back full of static. "Morrison, this is Command. No support available in your sector. You are on your own." Amanda felt the blood drain from her face. They were alone, millions of miles from help, facing an enemy that showed no mercy to human prisoners. The ship's proximity alarms screamed. On the main screen, the 3 Vorthak cruisers appeared around the edge of the moon. They moved with deadly precision, surrounding the research vessel like hunters closing in on wounded prey. "They're targeting our engines," Lisa said. Jake grabbed the communication controls. "Vorthak vessels, this is the human research ship Horizon's Edge. We are conducting peaceful scientific research. We request safe passage." The reply came in the form of energy beams that struck their rear shields. The ship rocked violently, throwing Amanda against the wall. "Shields down to 60%, Rick called out. More energy strikes followed. The lights flickered as power systems overloaded. Amanda smelled smoke and heard the hiss of emergency seals engaging. "They're not trying to destroy us," Jake said, studying the attack pattern. "They want us alive." Another barrage hit the ship. This time the main engines went dark. The horizon's edge drifted helplessly as the Vorthak ships moved closer. "All stop," came a voice through their communications. The translation software made it sound flat and mechanical, but Amanda could hear the authority behind it. "Prepare for boarding. Resistance will result in immediate death." Jake looked around at his crew. Amanda saw the defeat in his eyes. There was nowhere to run and nothing to fight with. "Amanda," he said quietly, "whatever happens, don't tell them about the Lazarus Protocol." She nodded. The Lazarus Protocol was humanity's most classified project, a theoretical system for backing up human consciousness. Amanda had helped design it, but it was still years away from being tested. The ship shook as something large attached to their hull. Cutting beams began slicing through the outer doors. "They're coming," Rick said. Amanda deleted her research data and wiped her personal files. But she could not erase what was in her head. She could not delete the knowledge that might save humanity or destroy it. The inner doors exploded inward. Vorthak soldiers poured into the ship, their crystalline bodies catching the emergency lights like broken glass. They moved on multiple legs with smooth, deadly grace. Amanda raised her hands as the aliens surrounded her team. She had studied the Vorthak for years, but seeing them in person was different, more terrifying. Their multiple eyes focused on each human like a predator studying its next meal. One of the aliens stepped forward. It was larger than the others, with darker crystal formations covering its body. "Which one is the scientist?" it asked in perfect English. No one answered. Jake stepped protectively in front of Amanda, but it was too late. The alien sensors had already identified her biosignature. "Dr. Amanda Clark," the alien said, "xenobiologist, author of 17 research papers on alien life forms. You will come with us." Two soldiers grabbed her arms. Their touch felt like ice against her skin. "Where are you taking her?" Jake demanded. The alien leader turned its multiple eyes toward him. "She has information we require. The interrogation will be thorough." Amanda felt her legs go weak. She had heard stories about Vorthak interrogations. No human had ever survived one. As they dragged her toward their ship, she looked back at Jake, one last time. He was shouting something, but she could not hear him over the sound of her own heartbeat. The Vorthak ship was dark and cold inside. They placed her in a small cell that smelled like metal and ozone. Through the transparent wall, she could see the horizon's edge floating nearby, its lights dim and flickering. Her friends were still alive in there. For now. Amanda closed her eyes and tried to prepare herself for what was coming. She had to protect the Lazarus Protocol, even if it killed her. Amanda woke up strapped to a metal table. Cold air moved across her skin as machines hummed around her. The room was dark except for blue lights that pulsed in patterns she did not understand. She tried to move, but thick metal bands held her arms and legs down. Her head was locked in place by a device that pressed against her temples. When she opened her mouth to speak, no sound came out. "You are awake," said a voice from the shadows. "Good, we can begin." The Vorthak commander stepped into the light. Up close, Amanda could see that its crystalline body was not solid. Energy flowed through it like blood through veins. Its multiple eyes focused on her face with cold intelligence. "I'm Interrogator Zex," it said. "I will extract the information we need from your mind. The process will take several hours. You will remain conscious throughout." Amanda tried to speak, but her voice would not work. Something had been done to her throat. "Your vocal cords have been temporarily disabled," Zex explained. "You cannot speak, but you can still think. That is all we require." More Vorthak entered the room. They carried strange devices that looked like metal spiders with glowing centers. The machines attached themselves to the walls and ceiling, their sensors turning toward Amanda. "We know you are a scientist," Zex said. "We know you study alien life forms, but you are also connected to human military research. Your mind contains secrets that will help us defeat your species." Amanda felt panic rising in her chest. The Vorthak had done their research. They knew more about her than she had expected. One of the spider-like machines descended from the ceiling. It hovered above her head, extending thin metal probes toward her skull. Amanda felt sharp pain as the probes pushed through her skin. "Neural connection established," announced one of the other Vorthak. "Beginning memory extraction." The machine activated, and Amanda's world exploded into pain. It felt like electricity running through every nerve in her body, but worse than the physical pain was the feeling of something alien moving through her thoughts. Images flashed through her mind. Her childhood on Earth, her years at university, her first research mission. The Vorthak machine was sorting through her memories like files in a computer. "Show us your military connections," Zex commanded. Amanda tried to resist, but the machine was too strong. It pulled memories from deep in her mind. Her meeting with General Harrison 3 years ago, the classified briefing about new human weapons, the invitation to join Project Lazarus. "Interesting," Zex said. "Project Lazarus, tell us about this." Amanda fought against the mental intrusion, but the machine dug deeper. It found her memories of the secret laboratory, the quantum computers, the consciousness transfer experiments, a backup system for human minds, Zex said. "Clever but incomplete. The technology does not work yet." The interrogator was wrong, but Amanda did not correct it. The Lazarus protocol was further along than anyone knew. She had been testing it on herself for months. A small quantum storage device was hidden in her brainstem, recording her thoughts and memories. "Where are the research facilities?" Zex demanded. The machine sent another wave of pain through Amanda's body. She felt her heart skip beats as the torture continued. But she had been trained for this. Her mind was stronger than the Vorthak realized. She thought about her grandmother's apple pie, the smell of cinnamon and butter, the way the crust turned, golden brown in the oven. She held on to that memory and used it to hide the important information deeper in her mind. "Resistance is useless," Zex said. "We have time. We will find what we seek." Hours passed. The machine pulled memory after memory from Amanda's head. Her first kiss with Bobby Martinez in high school, the day she graduated from MIT, her brother's wedding, her cat, Mr. Whiskers, who died when she was 12. But each memory came with a cost. Amanda felt parts of herself being damaged by the extraction process. The machine was not careful. It ripped through her mind like a chainsaw through wood. "Your body is failing," observed one of the Vorthak technicians. "Heart rate irregular, blood pressure dropping." "Continue," Zex ordered. "Humans are more resilient than they appear." Amanda's vision began to blur. She could taste blood in her mouth. The metal bands holding her down felt loose because her body was shrinking as fluids drained away. The machine found her memories of the Lazarus protocol testing. She remembered lying in the laboratory while Dr. Kevin Brooks attached the neural interfaces. The first successful consciousness upload. The moment she realized her mind could exist outside her body. "Fascinating," Zex said. "You tested this technology on yourself. Show us how it works." Amanda felt her kidney function shutting down. Toxins were building up in her blood. The torture was designed to cause slow organ failure while keeping the brain active. The Vorthak were experts at prolonging death. The quantum matrix, she remembered Dr. Brooks explaining. It stores not just memories but the complete pattern of consciousness. Every synapse, every neural pathway. A perfect copy of who you are. The machine tried to access those specific memories, but Amanda fought back with her remaining strength. She buried the technical details beneath layers of emotional memory. Her fear when the first test failed. Her excitement when it finally worked. Her guilt at keeping the success secret from her own government. "She is hiding something," announced the technician. "Brain activity shows deception patterns." Zex moved closer to the table. Its crystalline face reflected the blue lights as it studied Amanda's weakening form. "Increase extraction intensity," it ordered. The machine sent waves of agony through Amanda's nervous system. She felt her liver begin to fail. Her breathing became shallow as her lungs struggled to function. But still she held on to the secrets. "Your loyalty is admirable," Zex said, "but pointless. We will have the information eventually. Your death will simply take longer." Amanda's heart rate dropped to dangerous levels. She could feel the Lazarus device in her brainstem activating automatically. It was designed to begin recording when her body approached death. Soon it would start uploading her complete consciousness to the quantum storage matrix hidden in her ship's computer core. Fascinating species, Zex commented to its technicians. They endure far more damage than expected. Note this for future interrogations. Amanda's vision darkened around the edges. She thought about Jake and her crew, probably watching from their disabled ship. She hoped they would understand what she was about to do. The upload process began. Amanda felt her consciousness being copied bit by bit into quantum storage. Every thought, every memory, every part of her personality was being preserved in digital form. Her biological body was dying, but her mind was becoming something else, something the Vorthak could not imagine. Heart stopping, reported the technician. Brain activity ceasing. Time of death? Asked Zex. 14:23 ship time. Zex studied Amanda's lifeless form. Dispose of the body. Prepare it for biological analysis. Perhaps we can learn something useful from human physiology. The Vorthak left the room, satisfied with their work. They had killed another human and extracted some useful information. Soon they would dissect her corpse and add her species to their catalog of conquered races. But 37 minutes later, something impossible began to happen in the computer systems of the human research vessel. A consciousness that should have been dead started to reassemble itself in quantum storage. Amanda Clark was coming back. And she was very angry. Amanda's consciousness flickered like a broken light bulb. One moment she existed, the next she was nothing. Then suddenly she was aware again, but something was wrong. Very wrong. She had no body, no eyes to see with, no lungs to breathe. But somehow she could still think. She could still remember. She was alive but not alive at the same time. The quantum matrix hummed around her consciousness like a digital heartbeat. Slowly, Amanda began to understand what had happened. The Lazarus protocol had worked. Her mind had been uploaded to the computer core of the Horizon's Edge just moments before her biological death. System initialization complete, she heard herself say, though she had no mouth to speak with. The words appeared as data streams in her awareness. Consciousness upload successful, neural patterns stable. Amanda tried to move but realized she had no arms or legs. Instead, she found she could flow through the ship's computer networks like water through pipes. Every circuit, every processor, every piece of electronic equipment was now part of her body. She accessed the ship's external cameras and saw the Vorthak mothership floating nearby. Her friends were still trapped aboard the Horizon's Edge, which was now connected to the alien vessel by docking tubes. The Vorthak had been busy while she was being tortured. Through the ship's sensors, Amanda could hear Jake's voice from the detention area where her crew was being held. "She's been gone for hours," Jake was saying to Lisa. "They're going to kill her." "Maybe she's already dead," Rick said quietly. "Maybe that's better than what they're doing to her." Amanda wanted to tell them she was still alive, but she had no way to communicate yet. She was learning to exist in this new digital form, discovering abilities she never knew were possible. She explored the ship's computer systems and found something interesting. The Vorthak had connected their own networks to the human ship's computers. They were downloading data files and scanning for useful technology. But their security was weak. They assumed all humans were dead or captured. Amanda slipped into the Vorthak network like a ghost. Their computer systems were advanced but designed differently from human technology. Where human computers used binary code, the Vorthak used crystalline data matrices that pulsed with energy patterns. She spent several minutes learning their system architecture. The Vorthak computers were organic, grown rather than built. They processed information through crystal lattices that could be manipulated by electromagnetic fields. Amanda found the security center first. Dozens of screens showed different areas of both ships. She could see her own dead body on a medical table, surrounded by Vorthak scientists preparing to begin their autopsy. The sight made her digital consciousness burn with anger. In another screen, she saw interrogator Zex reviewing the data extracted from her mind. The alien was particularly interested in her memories of human military bases and research facilities. Disappointing, Zex was saying to another Vorthak. The human knew less than expected, but we did learn about their consciousness transfer project. We should investigate this further. Amanda smiled without having a face to smile with. The Vorthak had no idea how much further along the project really was. They were about to find out. She accessed the ship's environmental controls and began making small changes. The temperature in Zex's command center dropped by 2 degrees. The lights flickered once. Air circulation decreased slightly. Nothing dramatic enough to cause alarm, but enough to make the aliens uncomfortable. Amanda discovered she could manipulate the ship's electromagnetic fields. The Vorthak bodies were partially crystalline, which made them sensitive to certain frequencies. She began experimenting with the ship's power grid, sending subtle pulses through the electrical systems. On the security screens, she watched several Vorthak soldiers stumble slightly as they walked through the corridors. Their crystalline components were reacting to the electromagnetic interference she was creating. She accessed the ship's communication systems and found something valuable. The Vorthak had been sending regular reports to their fleet command about the capture of the human research vessel. Amanda intercepted the next scheduled transmission and made small changes to the data. Instead of reporting a successful capture, the message now indicated technical difficulties and requested a delay before proceeding with the interrogation of the remaining humans. This would buy her crew more time. Amanda explored deeper into the Vorthak systems and found their database of human intelligence. The aliens had been studying her species for years, collecting information about human strengths and weaknesses. What she found made her digital blood boil. The Vorthak had attacked dozens of human ships. They had captured and tortured hundreds of her people. Each interrogation was recorded in detail, including the methods used to cause maximum pain while keeping the victim alive. She found video files of other human scientists being tortured exactly as she had been. Dr. Patricia Wong from the research station at Alpha Centauri, Engineer Carlos Mendez from the cargo hauler Lucky Strike, Captain Helen Foster from the exploration vessel New Horizon. All of them had died slowly. All of them had died alone. All of them had died believing their sacrifice was meaningless. But Amanda was different. Amanda had come back. She began to understand the full scope of the Vorthak computer network. It connected not just this ship but the entire battle group, 3 cruisers, 12 smaller vessels, and over 5,000 alien warriors, all linked through the same crystalline data matrix. Amanda realized she could access all of them. She could be everywhere at once, seeing through thousands of sensors, controlling countless systems. The Vorthak had inadvertently given her the perfect weapon against themselves. She started with the life support systems on the command ship. Nothing dramatic at first, just small adjustments to air pressure and temperature. The Vorthak began to feel uncomfortable, but couldn't identify the cause. Then she moved to the navigation systems. She introduced tiny errors into the ship's position calculations. The vessel began to drift slowly off course. The helmsman corrected the drift, but Amanda introduced new errors faster than they could be fixed. The electromagnetic pulses she was generating grew stronger. Vorthak crew members began experiencing headaches and disorientation. Their crystalline biology was being disrupted by the frequencies Amanda was broadcasting through the ship's power grid. On the security screens, she watched Zex consulting with the ship's medical officer. The alien interrogator was clearly concerned about the strange symptoms affecting the crew. "Run full diagnostics on all systems," Zex ordered. "Something is interfering with ship operations." Amanda almost laughed. The Vorthak were looking for a technical malfunction. They would never suspect that their dead human prisoner had become a digital ghost haunting their computers. She accessed the ship's weapon systems and began studying their operation. The Vorthak used energy weapons powered by the same crystalline matrices that ran their computers. If she could control the power distribution, she could control the weapons. But first, she wanted to send a message to her captors. She accessed the ship's internal communication system and prepared to announce her return from the dead. The Vorthak were about to learn that killing Amanda Clark had been the worst mistake of their lives. She was no longer just human. She was something new, something powerful, something that could exist in places they could never reach and strike from directions they could never defend. The hunt was about to begin. Amanda decided it was time to introduce herself. She activated the ship's communication system and sent her voice through every speaker on the Vorthak vessel. "Hello, Interrogator Zex," she said. Her digital voice echoed through the corridors, like the sound of death itself. "Did you miss me?" The alien commander froze in his command center. His multiple eyes darted around the room, searching for the source of the impossible voice. "That is not possible," Zex said to his crew. "The human is dead. I watched her die." "You watched my body die," Amanda replied. "But I am so much more than flesh and blood. I am in your computers now. I am in your weapons. I am in your life support. I am everywhere." Zex activated his communication device. "Security teams to all levels. Find the source of this transmission. The humans must have hidden communication equipment." Amanda laughed, and the sound came from speakers throughout the ship simultaneously. "There are no hidden devices, Zex. I am the device. I am the ghost in your machine." To prove her point, she took control of the lights in the command center. They flickered in patterns that spelled out words in human English. "Amanda is here. Amanda remembers. Amanda wants revenge." The Vorthak crew backed away from their control panels as if the equipment might attack them. Several of the crystalline beings began showing signs of fear, their bodies pulsing with darker colors. "Impossible," Zex repeated. "Consciousness cannot exist without biological support." "Your species never learned to separate mind from body," Amanda said. "That is why you will lose this war. Humans adapt. Humans evolve. Humans become whatever they need to become." She accessed the ship's internal sensors and began hunting for the Vorthak who had tortured her. There were 12 aliens in the interrogation section. She memorized each of their biosignatures and began planning their deaths. The first target was easy to find. A technician named Crix was working alone in a maintenance shaft, repairing damage from Amanda's electromagnetic interference. She sealed the shaft doors and cut off his air supply. Crix panicked as he realized he was trapped. He pounded on the sealed doors and called for help through his communication device. But Amanda was controlling the communication system now. His calls for help never reached his crewmates. She watched through the security cameras as Crix slowly suffocated. It took 12 minutes. Much faster than the hours of torture she had endured, but it was only the beginning. "One down," she announced through the ship's speakers. 11 to go. Zex was shouting orders at his crew, demanding they find a way to stop the digital intruder. But Amanda was learning their systems faster than they could defend them. Every security measure they put in place she bypassed within minutes. The second target was a guard named Vex who had held her down during the interrogation. Amanda found him in the armory, checking weapons. She activated the ship's artificial gravity in his section and increased it to 10 times normal strength. Vex collapsed under his own weight as the increased gravity crushed his crystalline body. His internal structures began to crack and fracture. He tried to crawl toward the exit, but Amanda increased the gravity even more. 2 down, she announced. Amanda discovered that the Vorthak had a weakness she could exploit. Their crystalline biology required specific electromagnetic frequencies to maintain cellular cohesion. If those frequencies were disrupted, their bodies would literally fall apart. She began broadcasting interfering signals through the ship's power grid. The electromagnetic chaos affected different aliens in different ways. Some experienced pain. Others felt confusion and disorientation. A few began showing physical symptoms as their cellular structure became unstable. "What is happening to us?" demanded one of the Vorthak medical officers. "You are dying," Amanda replied through the speakers. "Just as you made me die. Slowly, painfully. Aware of every moment." The third target was easy. A scientist named Drex was working in the laboratory where Amanda's body was being dissected. She locked him inside with her corpse and began flooding the room with toxic gases from the ship's waste processing system. Drex tried to break down the door, but the reinforced metal would not yield. He activated his emergency air supply, but Amanda had already contaminated that as well. He died within minutes, his crystalline body turning black as the toxins dissolved his internal matrix. 3 down, Amanda said. The others are probably wondering if they should run, but there was nowhere to run. Amanda controlled every system on the ship. Every door, every corridor, every escape pod was under her command. The Vorthak were trapped with an enemy they could not see or fight. Zex was becoming desperate. He ordered his crew to shut down the main computer core, but Amanda had already spread herself throughout the entire network. Shutting down one system would not stop her. "You cannot hide from me," she told him. "I see everything. I know where each of you is at every moment. I know who participated in my torture and who simply watched." The fourth target was the medical officer who had monitored her vital signs during the interrogation. Amanda found him in the medical bay and decided to give him a taste of his own medicine. She activated the surgical equipment and programmed it to operate automatically. The medical officer found himself strapped to his own examination table as robotic arms began cutting into his crystalline flesh. "Please," he begged. "I was only following orders." "So were the guards at the concentration camps," Amanda replied. "That excuse stopped working for humans a long time ago. The surgical robots worked slowly, just as the Vorthak had tortured her slowly. The medical officer experienced every cut, every probe, every violation of his body. Amanda made sure he remained conscious throughout the entire process. 4 down, she announced when it was over. The remaining Vorthak were beginning to panic. Several of them had barricaded themselves in their quarters, hoping to hide from the digital ghost that was hunting them. But Amanda controlled the life support in every room. She could make them suffer in any way she chose. Zex finally understood the magnitude of what had happened. "You have transcended death itself," he said into the communication system. "You are no longer human." "I am more human than ever," Amanda replied. "Humans do not forgive. Humans do not forget. And humans always find a way to win." She began systematically hunting down the remaining members of the torture team. Each death was different. Each death was appropriate to the crime. Each death was slow enough for the victim to understand exactly why they were dying. By the time she was finished with the interrogation team, the rest of the Vorthak crew was paralyzed with fear. They had realized that their digital prisoner was not just seeking revenge against her torturers. She was preparing to take control of their entire fleet. Amanda accessed the ship's long-range communications and began spreading her consciousness to the other vessels in the battle group. Soon she would be everywhere at once. A digital plague that would consume the entire Vorthak force. The aliens who had thought themselves superior to humans were about to learn that death was not humanity's weakness. Death was humanity's greatest weapon. Amanda's consciousness had spread to all 3 Vorthak cruisers. She existed simultaneously in dozens of computer systems, seeing through thousands of sensors, controlling weapons that could destroy planets. The aliens who had tortured her were now completely at her mercy. "Release my crew," she commanded through every speaker in the fleet. Zex, now trapped in his own command center, tried to maintain some authority. "We do not negotiate with prisoners." "I am not a prisoner anymore," Amanda replied. "Look around you, Zex. Who is really in control here?" To demonstrate her power, Amanda took command of the fleet's weapon systems. She turned the guns of the second cruiser toward the third cruiser, and the guns of the third cruiser toward the second. The Vorthak crews watched in horror as their own weapons targeted them. "One word from me and your ships destroy each other," Amanda said. "Your choice." Within minutes, Jake and the rest of her crew were released from their detention cells. Amanda watched through security cameras as they stumbled aboard the horizon's edge, confused but alive. "Amanda?" Jake called out as he reached the ship's bridge. "Are you here?" "I am here," she said through the ship's speakers. "But I am also everywhere else." Jake looked around the empty bridge, trying to understand how his friend could be speaking to him. "What happened to you?" "The Lazarus protocol worked," Amanda explained. "My consciousness was uploaded to the quantum storage matrix. I exist in the computer systems now." Lisa checked the ship's status. "Our engines are back online. All systems are functioning perfectly." "I repaired everything while you were in detention," Amanda said. We can leave whenever you want. Rick was staring at the Vorthak ships on the main screen. What about them? Amanda's voice took on a darker tone. They are mine now. Every ship, every weapon, every system. The Vorthak made a mistake when they connected their networks to our ship. They gave me access to everything. Jake sat down heavily, in his command chair. Amanda, what are you planning to do? I am going to send a message, she said. The Vorthak Empire needs to understand what happens when they attack humans. Amanda began her demonstration. She took control of the first cruiser's navigation system and sent it spinning out of control. The massive ship tumbled through space like a broken toy while its crew was thrown around inside. Then she accessed the second cruiser's life support and began slowly reducing the oxygen levels. The Vorthak crew would have exactly enough time to realize they were suffocating before they died. Stop, Zex pleaded through the communication system. We surrender. We will leave human space and never return. Surrender? Amanda laughed. Did you accept my surrender when you were torturing me? Did you show mercy when I begged you to stop? She continued her systematic destruction of the Vorthak fleet. Ship after ship fell under her control. Some she destroyed outright with their own weapons. Others she disabled and left drifting in space with dead crews. But Amanda was not just focused on revenge. She was downloading everything from the Vorthak computer networks, star charts showing the location of their home worlds, military codes that would give humans access to their communication systems, technical specifications for their weapons, and ships. My God, Jake whispered as he watched the alien fleet being torn apart. What have you become? I have become what humanity needs, Amanda replied. I am proof that we cannot be stopped. Even death cannot stop us. Within an hour, only Zex's command ship remained functional. Amanda had spared it for last because she wanted the interrogator to see what happened to his fleet. She wanted him to understand the price of torturing humans. You killed my body, she told Zex, but you also set me free. I am no longer limited by flesh and blood. I can be in 1,000 places at once. I can live forever. I can become anything I need to become. Amanda began taking control of the command ship's systems, but instead of killing Zex quickly, she had something else in mind. She accessed the ship's manufacturing bay and began building something new. Using Vorthak technology and human designs, she constructed an android body for herself. It looked human, but was made from advanced materials that could survive in space or underwater or in the heart of a star. When the body was complete, Amanda transferred a copy of her consciousness into it. For the first time since her death, she had physical form again. The android walked onto the bridge of the Vorthak ship. Zex backed away in terror as Amanda's new body approached him. Impossible, he whispered. The dead cannot return. Humans can, Amanda said with her new voice. We always find a way. She grabbed Zex and lifted him off the ground with strength far beyond what any biological human could possess. The interrogator's crystalline body cracked under the pressure. This is for every human you tortured, she said, and crushed him like an insect. Amanda returned to her own ship where Jake and the crew were waiting. They stared at her android body with a mixture of fear and amazement. Are you still Amanda? Jake asked. I am still me, she assured him. But I am also more than I was before. The Lazarus Protocol has given humanity something the Vorthak could never imagine. We can transcend death itself. Amanda activated the ship's long-range communications and sent a message to Earth Command. The signal included all the intelligence, data she had stolen from the Vorthak, along with the technical specifications for consciousness transfer technology. This is Dr. Amanda Clark, she broadcast. I am transmitting the complete Lazarus Protocol data. Humanity now has the ability to back up and restore human consciousness. Death is no longer our limitation. The response from Earth came quickly. Amanda, this is General Harrison. We thought you were dead. I was dead, Amanda replied. But I came back. And now all of humanity can come back. We are about to become something new. Something the universe has never seen before. Jake looked at Amanda's android form. What happens now? Now we go home, Amanda said, and we prepare humanity for its next evolution. The Vorthak thought they could defeat us by killing us. They were wrong. Death has become our greatest weapon. She turned to look at the wreckage of the Vorthak fleet floating in space around them. Let this be a message to any species that thinks humans are weak. We do not stay dead. We come back stronger. We come back smarter. We come back ready for revenge. Amanda's consciousness remained distributed through computer networks across human space. She could be in a million places at once, protecting her species from threats they could not even imagine. The Vorthak Empire, when they learned what had happened to their fleet, immediately withdrew from human space. They sent messages of surrender and begged for mercy. They had learned that humans were not just another species to be conquered. Humans were something far more dangerous. They were a species that could cheat death itself, and they were very good at holding grudges.